Der Hedochrist. Glauben leben in einer säkulären Jugendkultur. So, welcome to my podcast about living in secular youth culture. I already have my first English-speaking guest here today. It's Nerina from Argentina. I know her since 2016. We met at Steiger Mission School. She was coming there just by herself, didn't know anyone, and just came here and was like, yeah, it was kind of interesting. She didn't even know about Steiger or something like that. And yeah, today I have her here to talk about the topic of using especially arts and creative things to engage with people on the streets or in daily life. And yeah, welcome, Nerina.
Thank you so much to invite me here.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. Can you maybe share a little bit about your background, where you came from?
Okay, I came from Argentina. I'm from Buenos Aires. And I know Jesus maybe since, I don't know the year, but since when I have 10 years old. Yeah, I was a Christian like almost all my life. But before I came to Germany, I was working in festivals, and also I opened like my own art school or the School of Art. And yeah, that festival is connected with this school also. And the idea about that was to connect everything in the festival, like skate, music and art also. And the people came and saw different stuff, and we shared the gospel through different things, but at the same time, that we never waiting for the specific moment to share the gospel, that everything happened at the same time. And it's like a little crazy, but the people in Argentina really like this. And also I have a team there, and they continue to do this also without me. And always when I came to Argentina, I joined them with this festival, but they are also continue. And I don't know.
Interesting. How did you come maybe to transition from just being a normal, like having your Christian life, to this it's kind of an outreaching thing.
Yeah.
You don't just do a church event or something like this, but I feel like you really want to be with people that are not going to church, that you really want to connect with them, that you really want to be friends with them, and through that sharing about your lifestyle with Jesus. How did you come? How did that transition come, like from just being normal church, whatever, to that I want to go out, I really want to be with these people?
Yeah. That transition for me was very hard because I was very religious person. Even I have my own relationship with God, of course, but I really follow the rules in the church. And I was working in the church for many years, and for me it's like so easy to follow the rules, and even if I don't agree, for me it's like, okay, I will do it. And I have a very deep experience with someone in my church. I was a leader for the youth people, but we have also another leaders. We was like a team, and some guy, he came, and he was like a street artist, and he do like all the graffitis in the area where I live is because he do it. And he came to our service very often, and he encouraged also the guys to preach the gospel through this. And we was create some like the shirt with the name of our ministry, and he really liked this, and he used this to go to the street and painting also the trains. And this is kind of illegal stuff, in every country.
in Germany as well.
And here, but he was very good in that. and he encouraged all our teenagers, more of the teenagers to go with him to the street and painting. And I was very angry about that.
Okay.
And I didn't like this idea, and I was talking to his leader, and I said, please, you have to stop him because I don't like this. He used our t-shirt, and the people know that when the people saw him, it's like, okay, this church is doing this, and I didn't like that. So he never know who say that for the leader, but he was very angry with that person, and he always talking about that, and I was there. And I was very angry about him, but as a leader, I cannot say nothing to him. And he started to come to the church, and I was very happy also for that because I said, okay, this guy, maybe he changed the idea. He go to another church, and for me it was very fine. And that at that moment I was finished my school because I was very young when I was like a leader in the church. And I finished my school and I decided to go to the university. But I want to study medicine I decided to study medicine for many years. And then, because I really like looking what God wants for me, He really speak to me and He said, you need to study art for me. And this changed all my mind, and I take my time also to decide to go to this university. I do other stuff. I don't know what I have to do about the studies. And then I decided to go to the university, and I remember my first, I have to do some work and defend this in front of the class. And it's like street art. And I was very angry, and I said, what, I have to do this? I doesn't like this, and also this is not the art.
Okay.
And so I start to know, of course, more. I have to be more involved in this because I have to present some project also in front of the class, and and I remember I was doing this project. Like
research or kind of.
And also I have to talk how is the street art and how I like this. And I remember I was sitting in my room, and it's like in the night, and God really talked to me, and He said, I want to be in the street, in the area where you live. And I start to cry like a crazy, and I say, I can't believe God really like this street art.
Okay.
And He wanna be here, in the street. And in my church, they didn't speak about the outreaches, or maybe they do, but in very religious way. They just share some flyers, or invited to a special event inside of the church, like a miracle day or something,
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about that, but I didn't know how I can connect this with the church. And so I started to go by myself to know where they can find these people. I don't know the name in English, but like a crew, or no, I don't know the name of this. But okay, I start to go by myself and see where these people meet each other, and
connect. They met on the streets, or did they have a special house or youth center or something like that?
Yeah, so for example,
mostly on the streets, right? Like in some street corners.
Yeah. Okay. Or maybe to go to some event, and they share in my university, or also I found in Facebook some events.
So they had a common cultural scene kind of that was artists. Okay, yeah.
So I start to go by myself, and then some friends in my church, because of course during this period I start to change my mind, the style, my clothes and everything, And the people in my church start to think oh, she is a little bit crazy now.
So you adapted the other culture that was not church culture from just being with the people.
Yeah, a little bit. Not so much because, of course, I was in the church and I was leading the worship also.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I do the outreach. I never do like this is like the way to do the outreach with the artists, but I just be with them and I hear what they say, or even when they told me like the inspiration about the art, and I was talking to them, and I always talked about God and Jesus, so these people start to come to my church, and I was very angry because the people doesn't accept them in the church.
Okay. The church didn't want them there, and so you had to come up with something else for them, basically. Yeah.
And so then I decided to create these festivals because it was very difficult for me to say to them, okay, Jesus is good, and also the church, but maybe
I can understand. Yeah.
So through these festivals, I start to meet a lot of Christian people that they really want to do this, but they don't have like the courage to do it, or they maybe think like we need a lot of money for these festivals, or we have to connect a lot of people, and they didn't know the people, and not even I didn't know how I can do this festival, but I really believe that God wants to use this to reach people. And then a lot of Christian people start to say, I want to help you in this, or I'm, I don't know, designer, or I'm musician, or I'm this, or I'm doing this, or whatever. So I start to connect all these people, and we create these festivals. And after that festivals, we start to meet them like these people once a week, and we do like Bible studies with them. And then when they are very connected with God, they decided to go to some churches.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, that was very long period for me.
Cool. Some things when you shared your story stood out to me. Probably, I don't know if you can add something to that, but it's just a thought that came to me. Like this guy that you were so angry with, he was kind of a missionary to the Christian world, to show them there's something out there more than your church life and stuff like this. And so you were kind of evangelized by this guy, even if you hated him. And another question comes up with that is, what do you think was the challenges in for you going out to that different culture, but also the challenge? Did you experience some challenges maybe with the church or with people to get other people to come with you, or was it just like really easy and they just came and worked all well?
The challenge for me was like I have to be more real. Because it's not just go to the church and do what we are doing in the church. Like, when you go to the street and you talk to the people, they have a lot of questions, and you never know that when they start to ask you, you never think about that, but you also start to have the same questions, and you don't have the answers to them. And so for me, my relationship with God started to be more strong from that moment, because it's so easy to believe in God and talk about God in the church. But it's more difficult to talk about God and see all the stuff that you normally see in the church, to see the same in the street. When you try to do, for example, the Bible study in the park, and you have a lot of different stuff there, and you need to catch the attention of these people, and you want to pray, or you want to explain some difficult questions, and you have a lot of strange stuff there, or also strange people sometimes. And yeah, I think it's like we have to be more real in our faith, and also our relationship with God is more strong. And for my church, for example, for me was more easy to talk with the old people about that.
Really?
Yeah, and they accept this more easy than the young people.
Oh, that's interesting. Would be totally different in Germany. Like young people would be more open to new ideas than old people.
No, for the old people, for example, like for the this. Again, I don't know the name exactly, but you know these people who pray all the time, like
oh yeah, that's really really old like ladies that pray all the time for everything and really like kind people and love everyone.
Yeah,
people like that. Yeah.
And because I was in the church for a lot of years and I was also leading the worship, I continued to be like a leader in the church. Mm-hmm. They really support me, and also they was in the festivals praying in the back of
they joined it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And sometimes they bring like a cake for the guys, it was very nice. But for the young people in my church was difficult to connect this, because also when you preach in the street, you found your friends, you found the people from your school, you found,
Also, they were afraid that they see that they are Christians, or in a way.
And I think for that reason was more difficult to involve them in that. And after maybe 3 years, try to connect the church and this festival and these people, I decided to quit this leader stuff, and I just be like a normal. I continue to be in the church and lead the worship, but not like a leader for the youth people, because for me it was like so difficult to understand. Yeah.
You were already too old for them.
Yeah, probably.
Too much outside the church. Yeah, cool. Really, really interesting story. Let me think of some more questions that would be interesting to know. But you basically you covered a lot of cool things that are really interesting to know. Maybe what do you think, how did your personal faith change by the years, or especially by getting more involved with people that don't have faith, that ask maybe different questions that the questions you would ask in church, and also the questions that we don't really have answers, and if you have answers, they're not really satisfying or something. They're really like, how do you think your personal way of believing changed in that time, or maybe even still changing?
I think it's still changing, because we always learn something about from the people, but from the beginning I was very frustrated, because I want to reach a lot of people and I want to convince everyone that this is the truth and you have to,
Yeah.
I was like very frustrated from the beginning. And also I think this is like the first topic that I changed, because now I really understand that this is not my work, and this is like the Holy Spirit work, and I just to tell the truth from them. And I discovered after to be more involved in Steiger and go to different countries and do the outreaches in different places, not only in Argentina. I discovered all the people are looking for the same, and also as like a Christian, we are looking for the same. We all the time we are try to do something to make better, to make us better. And we are looking for different stuff. And in the end, if we don't have like very strong relationship with God, we lose everything, and we miss the important things, and also we didn't enjoy the life with God because He's not enough for us. And so now I discover that in the same, we are looking for the same stuff, and the answer for all these questions and for all these things that we need is Jesus. And so I'm not afraid to say to them, to talking very open about God. Even if they don't understand, or even if they have a lot of questions, I have more patience to hear what they say, I don't want to explain everything because it's complicated, and also I don't have all the answers.
Yeah, you can't know everything, of course.
But always I have a good conversation to the people. I always pray, and I think this is the key to do it. Like you say, always the people receive prayers, even if they say I doesn't believe in God. You say, can I pray? And because they believe in the nature or some atmosphere or whatever, they say, oh yeah, the prayer is
the universe,
yeah. And you pray for them, and they always feel something. Because also this is other key maybe. For us, the Holy Spirit is in our life and is real, and we didn't realize how He work in our life. But when you pray for someone and you say, Holy Spirit, please come to this person, they start to feel something different, and they say, wow, this prayer is so good, it's so nice, oh, wow, I feel something. And for you maybe it's just a normal prayer, but for them it's something special.
Yeah, you can never tell what happens. Maybe it doesn't feel like you're just doing it for, okay, I've done it, and then they are really touched. And another time you think, oh, something is happening here, and then they are like, yeah, okay, thank you, it was nice. It can be both.
Yeah, but
you never know what God does.
No, but I think God is always doing something, but sometimes the people don't want to say.
Maybe.
And for you,
yeah.
And for me, it's like, okay, I don't want to. Like you don't have to take a picture of me and say, oh, this girl, pray for me in the street.
Maybe coming to this another. You already answered a little bit this question, but it's a little bit different direction now because you're coming to that you're doing it also in Germany and outreaching and stuff like this. What do you what for you is maybe also a little bit a difference, or what did you recognize in the maybe German European mindset that is kind of new for you, different for you, or something like this when you talk to people here in Europe compared to talking to people at home?
The big difference for me is the people in Europe have of course different experience about the life. If I have to compare with Latin America, we live like different situations. And for example, the other day I was talking to some girl, and here is very normal. When you want to study something, you have the support from the government, or you have the support from your parents. But for example, in Argentina, and even in my case, you have to work and you have to pay for your study. Nobody pay for you, even your parents, because the money is enough to survive. And you, if you want to study something, of course your parent can help you, but it's a little. And she was very stressed about the study, and I say, okay, you live alone here, you have your own room, you go to the university and you don't have this stress to know how you can pay the next month, or how you can pay for your books, or this, or the stuff for living. And you have only to be focused in your study. But for example, the people in Argentina, they have to think how they can pay their rent, how they can live, how they can have time to study, because they work a lot. And you never live alone when you study.
You live still with your family because you couldn't afford an own flat or something.
And even if you live in another place, you live with your friends or with some random people, so you're never alone. And in Latin America, it's always loud everywhere where you go. So and the people is never frustrated about that. And for me, it's like, your life is so easy. And for me sometimes it's difficult to try to understand, because I'm from other background, you know.
You feel like, oh, come, why are you complaining? You have such an easy life, you know. But it's sometimes hard to think about this, that this issues people have, that they are really serious. If you think like, what's the problem? I can understand this.
And it's like this. And it's not only for study but for another things. But also when you have, I think here you have more deep conversations than in Latin America, because here the people take so serious when you ask like, how are you? Sometimes it's like they don't want to share the stuff, but if they really, maybe they are really waiting for someone to ask this question, and they start, and you never know when they finish.
Can happen. Yeah.
But in Latin America, it's all the time. Like for us, it's not like how are you? It's like hey, like, hi, and how are you? It's like doesn't matter how are you. It's just a normal question.
It's just like hi. Yeah.
And even if very awkward, if someone told you really how they are, it's like okay, what you told me this. So yeah, I have more deep conversation here, and also the people really think, like for example, about that I think here I don't know this in English, but like it's more intelligent questions.
Like I can understand. They are thinking about more stuff, and it's more like intellectual, maybe.
Intellectual questions, people, because in Argentina everyone knows about God, or they know something about God, so they supposed to know. But here is like God can be, I don't know, other God, and it's like, okay, sometimes we really, that happened the last week. I really think that we are talking about the same God, because this girl say she was praying, she had peace inside, and I said, maybe she's Christian because we are talking about the same. In the end, she say, no, I'm Buddhist. And it's like I was talking to her for 1 hour and a half, and we believe in different stuff. So.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Maybe you, if you don't want to add some other things, stories or something like this, my last question would be: how would you encourage people that are maybe afraid, that are maybe even young and haven't experienced, how to encourage them to take steps in the direction that God maybe leads them, and that is maybe a little bit apart from church, that doesn't look like maybe even the church would like it if you engage in a special scene, for example, or special art, or go in special directions, and maybe they are afraid. How would you encourage people to take steps in that direction?
You mean how I can encourage the people who want to do outreach, for example, outside, but they have different stuff and the church doesn't believe in them? And also how I can encourage the people who want to do outreach, but they don't.
They are maybe afraid that themselves, because it's a bad world outside and the people are all having so negative views about Christianity, and so they don't go out at all because they're too afraid to make themselves a fool or something.
Okay, first, I think if you wanna, talk about God but you are afraid, you should have to do it. Because you never know how it is until you start. And you can think about that in your room a lot of hours and pray for that also, but if you didn't do, nothing happened, because you just have to take this courage. Maybe you take the courage one day and nothing happened. Maybe you take the courage for the second day and you say, okay, today I want to talk to someone about God, or I want to talk to this person or to my friend about God. Maybe nothing happened, but you just try it. And one day you talk to God, you talk to this person about God, and in the end you say, okay, this happened or this happened, but you just need to try it, because you just have to start. And if you don't like to do this alone, you can find Steiger Mission, or found some organization or something to go with them. And in the other hand, if you are artist, for example, and you are inside of some church and you really want to encourage your church, your leader or your pastor to do some outreach together, and you you have this vision to do this, and also the people answer to you, but not in the church. Maybe some advice is you cannot be you have to be part of the church. I really believe that in the next few years we will see more crazy stuff in different churches.
Mm-hmm.
And even for the creative people, something new also is the when you sorry, but I try to explain something, and even in Spanish I don't know how to say it.
Okay.
But I really believe that in the next years the new stuff is coming, and we have to change all the time. Mm-hmm. And also me, like an artist, or you just doing something, when someone came to you with the new stuff, for you also is new, and you have to see if this is working or not. And some new things sounds like a real crazy, and for you maybe doesn't mean sense to do this, or try. You say no, I don't like to do this yet, and you didn't pay attention. And so you just need to be part of this church and pray for them, but you have to do it also. Try to do this event or stuff or whatever, and then, because that happened to me, and then when your church really see that, this is working, and you really reach people through this or whatever, they want to support you. But you have to be part of the church, because we can do this alone.
Okay. So you're saying it's really important to not lose connection to the church. Even churches are always a little bit, at least some years behind. Most of them are 10 years behind. So you're saying you try to keep the contact to the church really, really closely, not just, it's there and I'm sometimes going, but really being close to the church, but also starting this new things, taking it in your own hand, even if the church is maybe not even supporting you at all and looks like, maybe if this is working. So generally it's good to have a church behind you, and it should be a church that lets you do the things, basically. There's also churches that would say, no, you can't do this, even if we don't support you, but we are really against you doing this. This would hinder you going into a direction, but most of the churches are kind of open if you say, I'm doing this by myself, and still stay in contact and have this close relationship also with the people there.
And also it's good for you, because we are not right all the time. So
cool. Thank you very much. It was a really cool, nice conversation, really insightful, and I hope the listeners will get something out of this. And also everyone who's listening, I encourage you to really try to think about ways to use your art, and if you're an artist, and be open to really take it outside the church, rather with the church, or maybe there's even possibilities wherever to do some exhibitions in like secular clubs or whatever. There's at least here in Dresden we have a lot of opportunities like this, where you could just go to public things where you can just present one of your pictures, and then also can talk about it and stuff like this. So there's opportunities, and these people out there, they are not evil, or like they have strange views of faith and stuff like this, but they're not like they won't hurt you too much if you talk about your picture and it has a little bit of a Christian message. They will be okay with it. They will ask questions, maybe hard ones, but they will accept you if you really are honest also about how you present your art.
Yeah. And I want to add something. Maybe you after you can pay or whatever. I think that you have to be like very normal, and like normal in this way. You have to try it in you have to it's not a word.
Normal, like honest, or yourself, or
this honest.
Genuine or something like that.
Maybe. yeah, you have to be honest by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're close to God and you really want to reach people through your art, for example, I have the experience in the Muslim restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and the owner of this restaurant, he know that I paint in something because I show some
Like photographs on your cell phone.
Yeah, something. And he said, oh, that is very nice and I really want this in my restaurant, and so maybe you can come and do it. And I say, okay, I will come. And this paint take me maybe 3 days.
Oh.
It's very small. If you go there, you say, oh, Nerina, come on, this is for 3 days. But yeah, it was very difficult for me because it's the first time that I'm doing this. And I didn't know, like, this is such a hard job. And so I was there for 3 days. And because it's a restaurant and the people enter very often, and they saw me, like, in the corner painting something. Some people came to me and asked me like what I'm doing, and I just say, oh, I'm just painting this and that, and they say what that means, because I doesn't paint the cross or something about the Holy Spirit, it's like just also looks like a mandala.
Okay.
And so the people ask me about this painting, and of course God is always in the middle. So I didn't expect that I can pray for the people inside of this restaurant, but I was praying for a lot of people.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, and also some of the days, some friends was coming to this restaurant just to see what I'm doing there, and because they talked to me in Spanish, there was some couple he's from Turkey, she's from Germany, but they met in Spain. So they talking to each other in Spanish, and because they hear the conversation after they finish,
and they think no one understands them, but you can understand every word.
Yeah. And they came to us and they asked like they came to us and they say, oh, you speak Spanish, we speak Spanish, and wow, this is so nice, and what are you doing here, and blah blah blah. So they sit with us. And they asked me also for the painting, so I explained to them, and then they was very open to God, and all my friends, we pray for them, and they came to the church also one time, and now they are in Spain, but it was very cool, and I doesn't expect that. Okay, today I want to paint in the restaurant and I want to pray for people.
So you didn't plan anything but painting your picture, and then things just happen. Yeah?
So, yeah.
Well, really cool. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, Simeon. Thank you too for inviting me.
See you on the next episode. Goodbye. Thanks for listening to this podcast. It's normally in German, but there will be several episodes where I have English-speaking guests with the original episodes as well. So if you want to help this podcast be a little bit more well-known, please share the episode and rate it, review it on iTunes, and help me get this project running. So thank you for listening, and see you at the next English-speaking episode.